Hello and welcome to CBSDenver.com. Romy Bean alongside Michael Spencer after a disheartening Broncos loss 17-16 to the Browns, and now playoffs are basically out of the picture.
Yeah, look, I think in talking to these guys after the game, disappointing, deflating. I mean, there was a sense in the locker room that, hey, this really was the loss that's going to shut the door on the season. At 6-8, they're saying all the right things. You know, we're still in it. We're not mathematically out of it, which at this point in time is true. But they know for all intents and purposes the playoffs are now a long shot after a really, really disappointing outcome here Saturday night.
And the playoffs were kind of a long shot anyway, but they were playing today like they had a 100% chance of getting in, even though they only had a 5% chance before this loss. A couple things we saw. Case Keenum hadn't thrown a pick in 5 games, tossed 2 today. Seemed like he was under pressure a lot. What did you see?
Yeah, the Browns clearly were stacking the box. I mean, the Broncos had just 32 yards on the ground as a team for the entire game. That's terrible. Romy, when this team's at its best, it's because they're running the football. They weren't able to do that. I asked Philip Lindsay about that after the game. He said, look, they're sticking 8 guys in the box. They were clearly taking away the run. Case was under a ton of pressure. You saw that all throughout the game. I was surprised the Broncos didn't go more screen plays, maybe try and alleviate some of that pressure. And then, of course, the big sack at the end of the game on a 4th and 10. They get Case Keenum. That ends up being the story. Case's 2 interceptions. Vance Joseph said he wanted him to be more aggressive. That's part of what comes with being more aggressive. Had the one in the end zone that was picked off, and then in the one right on the Broncos sideline, there was the interception, his first interception of the game. So I think they're going to look back at those and say, hey, look, we had chances, we had opportunities, we just couldn't get it done, which has really been kind of the microcosm of this season.
And I agree, because at the end of the day, the Broncos defense got enough turnovers back for them. Case threw an interception. Then Diamante Thomas picks up his first interception and stops the Browns from scoring. So the defense was there making up for it. But it really was at the very end, then that final play. But also, asked a couple guys in the locker room. 17-13, they go for the field goal. It goes to 17-16. What did you guys think of that? Couldn't really tell, but it seemed like they were, they all said it's above my pay grade. But you could definitely see there were some guys that maybe wanted them to go for the touchdown on that one.
Yeah, I actually thought it was the right call given the situation. There were still 4.5 minutes to play in the game. You trust your defense to stop them, and they do. And if the Broncos get into field goal range, if Brandon McManus' field goal wins it, nobody's questioning that decision. But such is life in the NFL as a head coach.
See, and you never know, but now it's on to the next one. 1-0, as Phil Lindsay kept still saying. I admire, the enthusiasm. You just got to keep sticking to it. The Broncos now head to Oakland for what's possibly the final game played at O.co between the Broncos and the Raiders. Couldn't be more fitting, a Christmas Eve meeting.